I have an announcement today that something we're trying that is completely makes me uncomfortable. I don't think it'll work. I don't want to do it. But you know what? I just feel as though we have to trial this. We have to do it. And the reason why we've got to do it is because I want it to work, but I don't think it'll work. And we haven't got enough data to suggest it won't work yet. What am I talking about? I'm talking about, oh God, I even feel uncomfortable saying it. Displaying prices on our website. If you go across to storemore.co.uk now, you will see that we are displaying prices, not just for Clough Road, but for Willoughby as well. And when I'm recording this, it's only been one day and we haven't had one reservation. And normally, on average, we get at least, I think it's like 2.4 reservations a day. And we got no reservations today. So am I a little bit nervous? Yes. Do I think it'll work? No. So why am I trying it? So then I've got the data to prove it, not to prove it because I don't care what anybody else does. All I care about is about what we do. And the good thing is about being a nimble, smaller business is that we can make changes swiftly. And a safe store, Big Yellow, Showguard, etc., they cannot make decisions quickly. The way I see it, them guys are like a cruise liner, and what we are like is Samari Pirates. That we can change direction anytime we want. We're a little speedboat, and sometimes the Samari Pirates actually take over the bigger boat because they are nimbler. They can turn. They don't have so many people making decisions. And so that's what we're kind of like. We're kind of like the speedboat. We can change directions very, very quickly and we can see what works. What's the point in me just spouting off saying, do you know what? It doesn't work. It doesn't work. When we didn't really trial it across the whole company. We only trialed it for one site and it was a new site. And so therefore the results wasn't really fair. It was inconclusive evidence. There's no way that that sort of trials would get through any medical trials or anything like that. It wasn't a fair trial. And don't get me wrong, we're not doing complete A versus B because a complete A versus B will be one quote is A trial and another quote would go down to the B trial. That would be a complete split and a completely fair trial, A versus B trial. And so we haven't got the pure data like that, but it will surely give us some indication of what works. And ultimately, what we're doing, we're at a crossroads in our business now. We're just about to open another site, which is an extra 20,000 square foot. And do we have to hire somebody else? I'm thinking yes. But there is a small possibility that we can display our prices and not do any follow-ups or anything like that on most people, because obviously if they contact us, then we can do, if they ring us up, our conversion rate should be through the roof. And so, yes, then we can do some follow-up with them customers who actually get in contact with it. But for the majority of customers, there will be no follow-up. And so therefore, do we need any extra members of staff? And the answer to that question is no. So what I don't want to do is I don't want to spend a massive amount of money on staff for our new site. And I don't mean staff for our new site. Well, in effect, it'll still be a manless site. But what it'll be is, it will be, so I was just thinking about something else and thinking, oh yeah, I should do a podcast about that. I'm wanting staff, but then I've got to say the area. And so my man was going there. Yeah, so it's a manless site, but somebody will be stationed in that office because we're capped out. We're at capacity at Willoughby. We've got 3 desks there, but 3 desks at Willoughby is too many people. So we're taking one to Beverley and stuff and swapping it around because when one person's on the phone, everyone else can hear you in the office and stuff. So we do, if we end up, if this experiment doesn't work, then that means we can't run 4 sites with 3 full-time members of staff. It just can't be done. And so we'll need to invest in a staff member, a management person or something. And if we do that, and we trial this showing prices later in the year or next year, then we won't need that extra member of staff. And I never want to make someone redundant. So the fairest time to do it was now. And yes, I know obviously it's October, but October's been incredibly busy for us. One of our best months so far of the year is October. And I still believe October is very, very busy. And so I'm trialing it now. I'm going to see what happens. And obviously, without a shadow of doubt, I will be documenting this whole process. We'll be having a look at website views compared to how many reservations. That's the only data that we can actually show like for like. At the minute, it's between 5 and 6.5% that we are converting our visitors. So will it change? Will we get more? Obviously, we can compare reservations as well. In like the previous week, we got 9 reservations, 15 reservations, whatever it was. And this week we got 2, 3, 4. Then we can not conclusively say, because I think a short trial isn't beneficial to anybody. However, if we do get below like 5 reservations this week, then it may be a very, very short trial. And because this makes me feel uncomfortable, and I've got to be uncomfortable for a long period to have any substantial evidence. However, this is still my business. And if it's like under 5 reservations when previous weeks have been like 15 reservations, then we know that there's something off there. I might still continue it for another week, but ideally, if there's not much in it, and don't forget, you are going to save money on staffing as well. So we are saving money on staffing. We understand that. So we've got to put, and not that I mean I'm going to make someone else redundant. It means that we can probably open 4 or 5 sites and not need any extra members of staff, because we can fulfill our quotes. We don't really get any quotes. We can fulfill the customers' needs with just some members of staff. So it'll be really, really interesting to see what happens without the follow-up. The way I look at it is that big boys do it. Don't do it. There's big boys, actually, the Safe Store, the Big Yellow, they do follow-up, etc. So if a big boy's doing the follow-up, it's probably because the follow-up works. They're not big boys for any reason. So I always hold that as a holy grail. Whatever the big boys are doing, it's probably working, because why would they be doing it if not? They've got millions and millions of pounds of research and development that they can put into this. And so if it wasn't working, I'm sure they would change it. However, I do understand that sometimes the big boys are the last to innovate, because it's so hard for them to innovate. It's a big cost for them to innovate as well. However, it's a big cost saving as well. But ultimately, I think the big boys will be doing it if it works. I also, Gavin Shields, every time I speak to him, he's convinced by this method. He's absolutely convinced by it. So if he's convinced by it, excuse me, then why don't I give it a go? The smarter people than me around the world that are doing this. In America, it's a no-brainer, because people in America know what self-storage is. They know that they're comparing a 5-star to a 1-star self-storage facility, just because it's a more mature industry. People understand self-storage more than do in the UK. However, when you're comparing our prices to Joe Bloggs down the road won't have 24-hour access, won't have the no-key technology, won't have all that infrastructure there, won't have the wonderful design, etc. It'll just be, a back and beyond self-storage. So people don't know that, first of all, especially when people put fake pictures on and stuff. Drives me mad, does that. Somebody actually put fake pictures on using our pictures. How about that? It's incredible. So yeah, I'm trialing it. I feel really, really uncomfortable, especially after the first day's results. But the only way to do these things is to test them. And you want to feel uncomfortable in your business. You need to feel uncomfortable in your business, because otherwise you're never, ever going to innovate. You're always going to be exactly the same place. And that's why we need to test things. We don't want to be one of these businesses that just does what everybody else does. I want to try and be one of the leaders in this industry and do things that nobody else is doing. We don't want to just follow a path and do what everybody else is doing. So this is why we're doing it. And yes, I do know there is substantial operators out there that are doing this and it's working for them. But is it because they're in a good area, and in terms of the location, they don't have many competitors? We have a shitload of competitors in Hull, and we are the most expensive. Is it because they're not the most expensive where we are, and therefore we need to and like to speak to our customers to explain why we're different? I don't know. But what I do know is that we are testing it. We're seeing what's happened, and I wholeheartedly want this to work. One, it'll be so much easier for me to expand. We don't have the staffing issues. But number 2, the current staff that we have can focus on our current customers more and spend more time with them. What James Sinclair says, customer cuddles. We can give our customers cuddles more. We can make them cups of tea. We can do things for them that will surprise and delight them. We can make a real effort with them, where at the minute we're just snowed under with quotes all the time. So we can't do any of it. We can do very limited versions of it. My team can't delve into the figures and say, look at this, Dean, are you a bit worried because we only got this many move-ins last month compared to this many move-ins 2 months ago? Have you seen this? But what's the reason? We can't do any of that at the minute. It's just me who's looking at all the data. So I want it to work. I've got an invested I'm invested in the outcome because it's better for me if we can do it manless, if we can display prices and we don't do follow-ups and stuff like that. However, there is a downside to this as well, because it commoditizes the industry. If showing prices on your website works, then how do you stand out? Because we stand out because of our people. We stand out because of James, Vanessa, Angela, Claire. We stand out because of them people, or because of the customer care, because of the experience that we and the salesmanship that we have when we're talking to customers. We stand out because of that. However, if there's no follow-up anymore, there's no way to stand out before the customer comes in. Yes, there's a way to stand out with your current customers, but there's no way to stand out with the customers that haven't come in, that are potential customers. So that for me is a little bit of a worry as well. Interesting. I'll obviously keep you guys updated. And I think the first episode that we'll know a little bit more is Monday's episode, because I'll be, even though I'm away, we will be doing an episode on Monday, and it'll be interesting. I'm really looking forward to it. I am scared. I am worried. We're having a wonderful, wonderful month so far. It's going to be one of our best months ever. And some people say, if it's not broke, don't fix it, don't change it. But good is also the enemy of great. So when you're good, it's hard to be great, because you get in that good zone and it's so difficult to get out of there because you're comfortable, you're happy, you're all right, you're content. And that's where we are right now. And so is the great out there? Who knows? We're going to find out. So that's where we're at the minute. I want to update you guys. Have a great weekend, and I will speak. My God, my hair looks mental on this. Right. Sorry, I just saw my Zoom. Right. Anyway, shut in, go. Have a great weekend. Bye.